The ground shook beneath the mountains, but the explosions were not on the surface. They were happening deep underground, inside a network of tunnels that Iran once called its greatest shield. For decades, these hidden bases were presented as an unbreakable defense, secret cities carved beneath the mountains where thousands of missiles were stored and protected from air attacks. But now those same tunnels may have turned into something far more dangerous, a massive underground trap. What was once designed to protect Iran's military power is now being described by analysts as one of the most dramatic strategic reversals in modern warfare. And if the latest reports are accurate, tens of thousands of soldiers may be cut off from the surface with no clear way out. Before we go deeper into this story, if you enjoy detailed global analysis like this, take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Here on Prime World Report, we break down the biggest geopolitical stories in simple, clear language so you can understand what is really happening behind the headlines. Your support helps the channel grow and keeps these reports coming. For nearly 40 years, Iran invested enormous resources into building what it called its missile cities. These are vast underground complexes hidden inside mountains across the country. Engineers drilled hundreds of kilometers of tunnels, some buried 80 to 90 meters beneath solid rock. Inside these tunnels were missile launch platforms, ammunition depots, command centers, air defense equipment, and entire logistical systems designed to operate even during heavy bombing. According to estimates, Iran built at least 20 to 30 major underground missile bases, each designed to survive large-scale air attacks. The strategy was simple but powerful. If Iran were attacked from the air, its missiles would remain safe underground. When the moment came, launch platforms would rise from hidden shafts or drive out of tunnels, fire their missiles, and then disappear again beneath the mountains before enemy aircraft could strike back. Iranian leaders believed this system would allow them to survive the first wave of any conflict and continue fighting for years if necessary. In fact, government officials once told the public to prepare for a war that could last 5 years. But the events that began on February 28, 2026 changed everything. Within days, a massive coordinated air campaign reportedly began targeting Iran's underground military infrastructure. Analysts say the scale of the operation was extraordinary. The United States deployed 3 different types of strategic bombers at the same time: the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, the B-1B Lancer, and the B-52 Stratofortress. Seeing all 3 operating in the same campaign is extremely rare and signals a very high level of military coordination. The weapons used were even more significant. Among them was the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator, one of the most powerful bunker-busting bombs ever built. Weighing roughly 13 tons, this weapon is specifically designed to penetrate deep layers of reinforced concrete and rock before detonating. Only the B-2 bomber can carry it, and its entire purpose is to destroy facilities buried deep underground. At the same time, other aircraft targeted tunnel entrances and surface infrastructure. Precision-guided bombs struck access points, support buildings, and launch ramps. B-52 bombers reportedly carried out wide-area bombing runs to collapse entrances and damage surrounding structures. The goal was not just to destroy missiles, but to shut down the entire underground network. The strategy unfolded in 2 phases. First, reconnaissance aircraft and armed drones began circling above suspected bases around the clock. Any movement, a launch vehicle leaving a tunnel, a missile platform rising from a silo, or even vehicles moving near the entrance could be detected within minutes. If a missile appeared above ground, it was immediately targeted. Before it could launch, the second phase focused on sealing the tunnels themselves. Heavy bunker buster bombs were used against entrances, exits, and ventilation structures. Once these points were destroyed or collapsed, everything inside the tunnels became effectively isolated. According to publicly released figures from military sources, more than 1,700 targets were struck during the early stages of the operation. Satellite imagery later revealed widespread damage to facilities across several provinces. In Hormozgan province, multiple structural supports inside one base appeared destroyed. In Isfahan, buildings that had been rebuilt after earlier damage were struck again. In Lorestan and East Azerbaijan provinces, tunnel entrances connected to newly constructed underground networks were hit repeatedly. Perhaps the most dramatic images came from the Konarak military base near the coast. Satellite photos showed destroyed drone facilities, collapsed aircraft shelters, and a naval vessel sunk inside the harbor after nearby explosions. Military analysts estimate that Iran had between 100,000 and 150,000 personnel assigned to these underground bases. These included Revolutionary Guard units, missile operators, engineers, technicians, air defense crews, command staff. and logistics teams. Considering that Iran's total active military force is around 610,000, this means nearly one-third of its forces were connected to the underground missile system. And this is where the situation becomes critical. If tunnel entrances and exits are destroyed, the people inside cannot easily reach the surface. Ventilation systems may be damaged, communications lines cut, and supply routes blocked. Fresh air, fuel, medical evacuation, and reinforcement all become extremely difficult. In effect, large numbers of troops could become trapped inside the very bunkers designed to protect them. Evidence of the disruption appeared quickly. Reports indicated that missile launches dropped by about 86% within just 4 days. For military planners, that number is a powerful sign that the underground network may have been severely disabled. Iran's original plan assumed that its underground forces could wait out the initial attacks and then emerge once the air campaign slowed. But the air campaign did not slow. Surveillance aircraft reportedly continued circling the region day and night. Every time a door opened, every time a vehicle moved, it risked being detected. The intelligence effort behind these strikes was also massive. High-resolution commercial satellite images identified tunnel entrances and construction patterns. Military reconnaissance aircraft added thermal and radar data. Signals intelligence monitored communications. Once air defenses were weakened, surveillance aircraft could fly directly above suspected bases, watching for any movement. Looking back, analysts say several strategic miscalculations may have led to this situation. Iran appears to have underestimated how quickly its air defense network could be destroyed. Within hours of the operation's start, many key systems were reportedly knocked out. Without air defenses, reconnaissance aircraft were free to operate. Above the bases, another miscalculation may have been underestimating the power of modern bunker-buster weapons. Iran believed that placing facilities deep inside mountains would make them safe. But the latest generation of penetrating bombs was designed specifically to defeat exactly that type of protection. Speed was another factor. Iran prepared for a long war of attrition, expecting that any conflict would unfold over years. Instead, much of its missile infrastructure was targeted within a single week. And finally, decentralizing. Missile Launch Authority did not solve the core problem. Even if commanders in the field had permission to launch, the launch platforms themselves were destroyed or blocked before they could be used. Today, the situation remains uncertain. Reports suggest that a large portion of Iran's missile capability has been damaged or neutralized. Air defense systems have been weakened, naval forces disrupted, and logistics routes strained. Nuclear-related facilities have also reportedly suffered damage. For 40 years, Iran dug deep into the mountains, building what it believed were invincible underground fortresses. Thousands of missiles were stored there, along with massive numbers of troops and equipment. The idea was that these hidden cities would guarantee survival in any war. But in modern warfare, the same structure that protects you can also trap you. Collapsed entrances, destroyed launch ramps, damaged command centers, and isolated troops have turned the missile city strategy into a serious vulnerability. What was meant to be a shield may have become the very weakness that opponents exploited. Now, the biggest question is what happens next? Can Iran rebuild its underground network, or has the entire concept been permanently exposed? Could trapped forces eventually escape, or will these bases remain sealed for months? And most importantly, how might this reshape the balance of power across the Middle East? I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think underground military cities are still a viable defense strategy in modern warfare, or has this conflict proven that even the deepest bunkers are no longer safe? Share your opinion in the comments below. If you found this report useful, don't forget to like the video, share it with others who follow global politics, and subscribe to Prime World Report for more in-depth analysis of the world's biggest geopolitical stories.